once upon a time.
What are you two?
Me and we have many hunter. Me all together.
You hunt together.
These days, many men. So, they will say us having. Take your more time. Hunter? Maybe Gawri?
Why you leave that chat?
That's more time. Me make the jump bigger.
How long you with that chat?
10 minutes?
10 moon? Me hear you leave after 2 months. Me hear you leave and go travel around playing with friends. Me too. Me don't try to chase for something.
Me just want to play. Me gotta just see some. Yeah.
That's...
Lovely. Little. Little.
It's going to be that day, people.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera everyone. Always remember, if you have a broken resume, it's going to be a long day for your future employer. Welcome to Resume 101 Carve Right. Thank you so much for being here and we hope you are safe and well during these times. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Nurul Farhana Hambali. You may address me as Hana. I'm from Lifeworks Consulting. I will be your moderator for today. Do you know, Lifeworks Consulting is constantly growing to become Malaysia's #1 learning and development platform. We believe every human being has the potential to achieve anything. Yes, anything, because we can achieve up to the infinite possibilities. With our unique approach of blended learning, we at Lifeworks facilitate individuals and organizations to unfold their innate potential. Now, I myself is very fond of quotes. One of my favorite quotes is never stop learning because life never stops teaching. We can surely relate this today. Therefore, I hope this webinar would benefit everyone. Name it if you're a fresh graduate, experienced, active, non-active, job seeker, anybody. And there is something for you, for everyone to gain from us today. By the end of this webinar, our goal is to share as much information to you on the right content and how you present it to market yourself in a much competitive employment market. Before we kickstart, I would like to first and foremost thank our sponsor, Intelek Talent Solutions. They have been in the market and pioneering the recruitment industry with more than 21 years. With their tagline, candidates first and everything else will follow philosophy, we believe Intelek is in the right position to share their wonderful experience that will benefit all of us. And with us today, we are very fortunate to have two lovely panelists, Ms. Gawri Naidu and Ms. Putri Nabila, Intelek Talent Solutions senior recruiters to represent the organization. Without further ado, tell us more, Gawri. How do we carve it right?
Thank you, Hana. A very good morning, all. Thank you very much for joining us today in the Resume 101 webinar session, Carve It Right. I would love to thank Lifeworks Consulting for organizing this wonderful event today. I'm Gawri Naidu, representing Intelek together with my colleague Nabila. Before we get into today's session, I would love to walk you through a bit about Intelek. So we are a homegrown recruitment specialist. We've been in the market for the past 21 years. We hire candidates right from the non-executive up to the top management level, and it can be on a permanent or contractual basis. We also do have a division for the payroll management. Our physical presence can be found in Wisma MCA Jalan Ampang, KL, as well as Section 20 Shah Alam in Selangor. So what do? What is our primary function? We act as the mediator between job seekers and employers. We connect job seekers to the right employers. You may have a question, am I required to pay? The answer is absolutely no. Employers do pay us. The next question would be, why employers collaborate and why would they pay us for these services? Generally, recruitment is our core business. When you take an example, Panasonic manufacturing, their core business is manufacturing of electronics. Hence, it makes them not being able to be 100% focused on recruitment. Therefore, recruitment firms like us are utilized to ease their recruitment processes. I hope this information did provide better insights of who Intelek is and what we do. With no further delays, let's get into our topic. Do you know the picture of this lady? Probably not all, but I believe most of you do. It is one of the most famous portraits ever made in the world. Yes, it's the painting of the great Mona Lisa. How is she related to our topic? It's not her, but it's the greatest painter, inventor, and philosopher of all time, Leonardo da Vinci, not Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay. And resume, it's actually an Italian word meaning summary. Leonardo da Vinci, he was credited for writing the first recorded resume back in 1481 to a potential employer. He was an Italian prince whom Leonardo did write his letter to. This is in regards to Leonardo's job application. And for the next 450 years, resume have been a mere description of a person with their ability and past experiences. In the 1900s, resume included elements such as weight, height, marital status, religion, and etc. Around the 1950s, elements such as hobbies and interests were also incorporated into resumes. From the 1970s onwards, where it was the beginning of the digital era, resume became mandatory with a more sophisticated outlook. Okay, first and foremost, what is the differences between a resume or curriculum vitae? In short, we call it CV. Yeah? Resume, it's a brief summary of skills and experiences, whereas a CV is a longer academic diary that includes all experiences and certifications. Are they different? In general, they are not different. They are the same in Malaysia especially. It is a compilation of facts of your works, experiences, education, credentials, and accomplishments. Now, who loves writing a resume? I don't think anybody do, right? Hence, with a little bit from our experiences, we are here to share and get you through the simplest possible resume or CV writing ways today. There are a few important questions you should ask yourself, and we will go through one by one. So the first thing is, what is the role that I am applying for? Be specific in the role that you're applying or seeking for. For example, sending out an email suggested applying for any job. In most situations, from my experiences, candidates who aren't certain in seeking what role they're seeking for, usually they tend not to accept any jobs they're called for, or even perhaps they would have applied. But when they are approached, they decline, saying, no, this is not what I'm looking for. So time is precious for all. Hence, be specific and cautious in the job application. The next question is, which company or industry I am targeting? This is mainly applicable for those seniors out there who intend to switch industry or seeking for a career enhancement. The third important question, what are the attributes that differentiates me from others? So think wisely what you can bring to the table for the role which makes you to stand out from the rest of them. And the fourth important element is what are the keywords you should be using to align yourself with the applying job description. In general, bear in mind, hiring managers or recruiters, they do not spend anything more than 10 seconds to review a resume. When they whack through a resume, they will just screen through keywords. When they do not find keywords, they're just going to skip on resumes. So be very wise in the selection of keywords which relates to your personal skills. Okay, there are few components in which is mandatory for resume or CV. A header is a must in all CVs. So the first thing that you should include is full name as per the identity card or passport. The next, current location. This is to indicate where you live and where you'll be able to work. The third point, use a proper email ID. Avoid using emails such as fun_boys@gmail.com or sweetie20@yahoo.com. You know, such emails, avoid those. The next one is valid contact number. Ensure your number is functional. This is to ensure a call for any job applications or interviews isn't missed. The next one will be proper picture. Make sure it is a formal or passport size picture, not something surrounded by people or you being in an event or you have objects around you. Avoid those kind of pictures. The next, links to social media, especially if you have any work or publications which you would like to demonstrate to the potential employers, in enhancing your chances of getting a job. The next one will be your education qualification. Ensure to include the name of your institute and the year of completion. If you have certain certifications, to include those as well. And the last one will be languages that you are able to speak, read, and write. Okay, I tend to get this question a lot, especially from those with no working experiences or very minimal working experiences. They tend to ask me, all companies are requiring for experience, so how will I gain experience when nobody hires me? Fair enough to be asking this question, but first and foremost, I would say a very good resume or CV is required in enhancing one's chances of being employed. Hence, before we move into the next components required for a resume or CV carving, ask yourself this question: who am I as a job seeker? I would categorize into three. The first, I'm not a fresh graduate and I don't have any working experiences. The second, I am a fresh graduate, and the third one will be I am an experienced person. Okay, so let's see one by one. So the first one, I'm not a fresh graduate and I don't have any working experiences. Mostly it's going to be a one-page resume here. That is fine. What you can include are your volunteer jobs, part-time jobs, or any awards and memberships that you have been enrolled or engaged during your schools. This indicates how active of a person you have been in schools. Okay. The next category, I am a fresh graduate. Probably there's a lot of you fresh graduates out there today listening to this seminar. So do take note, yeah? Your past working experiences, let it be internship, a part-time or volunteer job, you must include into your resume, especially when you're looking for your first job. Name the company, the position title that you've held, when did you start, when did you end, and include a few lines, like at least 3 or 4 lines of what you have done in terms of the job description. For those from technical field of studies like IT and engineering students, include final year projects and researches that you have done and completed. And also, if you are from software background, so you can emphasize on what are the programming skills that you have. And if you have done any publication during your university, include those as well. together with the extra curriculum you have been involved with. For the reference, you may ask, I do not know whom I need to put as my referee. Very simple. For those with internship experience, you may include your supervisor from your internship. And you can also include your lecturer as a referee. And the third category, okay, this will be I'm an experienced person. A professional summary is what differentiates an experienced person from the others. Hence, a summary is extremely vital, yeah, for those who falls into this category. The next question is, can the same summary be used for 10 different job applications? The answer is no. For example, company A and B both are hiring for software developer, and company A requires skills in VB.NET, whereas company B is seeking for skills in Java and C#. Just because the title says software developer, it doesn't mean any software developer would fit into these roles. When an applicant randomly submits his or her resume without tailoring their employment summary, uh, automatically the chances of receiving a call from the recruiters or hiring managers becomes lesser. It is highly recommended to include a customized summary for every single job application. A summary should explain who the job seeker is as a professional and not about the company that you work for. It should be what he or she actually do to aid towards the success of the company. Summary should grab the attention of a recruiter or hiring manager right away. It should be convincing enough to be read more. Referring back to my previous slide, I did mention about keywords. Keywords are very significant for emphasizing your skills. I did mention earlier. For example, for a job application for a role of digital marketing, a keyword such as data analytics, it must be included if you have acquired these skills from your previous job. It will be a selling point. For the next elements, the other key components will be your company name, position held, the start and end month and year, and together with a very good job description. Elaborate your job description well. And in terms of the chronology, it's advisable to go from the latest to the oldest. Do emphasize on promotions and key achievements. So hiring managers and recruiters will be able to see how far you have gone, what you have been able to deliver for the achievement of the company. You can also list down like soft skills and hard skills. Soft skills like communication skills and leadership skills. Hard skills, we are referring to like programming skills, negotiation skills, for those from sales background. Yeah. The next will be notice period. Notice period, especially for those who are available immediately. Generally, recruiters and hiring managers are drawn towards those who are available immediately, especially if the role is urgent and requires an immediate candidate reporting. Okay, so you may include notice period. Lastly, for reference, it's optional. It's pretty much optional for those with experience. Not everybody are comfortable to share the referee details. Perhaps you may provide if you're shortlisted for the role. Okay, a fun fact, intelligence was once gauged by the size of the head. The bigger one's head is, the more intelligent he or she is. In which we all know now it's not true. However, this was once used as a criteria in deciding if someone gets a job or not. With having that said, I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. Passing back to Hana. Thank you, Hana.
Thanks, Gawri. That was such an insightful content. Gawri, mind sharing with us on a monthly basis, in general that is, what's the ratio of application between, let's say, fresh graduates and experienced candidates?
Okay, so good question, Hana. Actually, it's pretty much subjective, I would say. It depends on the types of roles that we receive from our clients who are the employers out there. But in an average, I would say 30% fresh graduates required and 70% are for those with experiences. I hope that answered, Hana.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Let's move on to our next panelist. We have Miss Putri Nabila as our second panelist to continue.
Okay. Hi, thank you, Hana. First of all, hi everyone. Good morning. Hello. Okay, I am also one of my name is Putri Nabila Huda. I'm also one of the recruiter from Intelek. So I hope you learned something from my colleague Gawri just now. So I'm going to touch the technical part of the CV or your resume. So, but throughout my sharing, feel free to ask any question if you have any. We have Q&A box below, so you can just drop your question there. We'll try to answer it after this, okay? So I'm gonna just share my screen first. One moment. Okay. Yeah. One moment, sorry. Okay, so that's our company's name, Agensi Pekerjaan Intelek Talent Solution or Intelek Staffing Services Number Heart. So yeah, that's my name. But you can call me Nabila. So first thing first, we go to resume basics, whereby, yeah, this is just, I'm going to walk you through the resume basics. Format. Format, use simple and consistent design, font, sizing, and spacing. And then you have to use black or dark readable ink. Okay, so make sure it's contra with your background. Kalau dah guna background red, jangan guna red juga ataupun similar font color. So you have to actually use contra to your background lah. Use black or dark, that's the best. Readable ink. The next one is format. Format as PDF. I know some people we used to receive CV in Word format or other format, but we recruiters actually prefer in PDF format, right? So the next one is content. Include your content, contact information and email at the top, because whenever we find your CV is available or suitable for the position, it's actually easily, we can just get your contact number or email, we can contact you, okay? So the next one is don't have to include objective statements. I'm not sure whether you notice some of your friends or as a recruiter, I've been receiving CVs that have objective statements like at the top or in the beginning of the CV, at the very first, like on the very first page. So I don't think so you have to include that. So you don't have to include the objective statements. The third one is don't need to include references. Maybe you want to put, if you want to put, then it's okay. But if you don't have anybody who can give you good reference, then you don't have to actually force to put or just take one of my lecturers. You don't have to do that. And also you don't have to put like references available upon request. That one, I think it's not necessary as well. All right. So now we go to the length of your CV. Keep to 1 page for business and internship roles and no longer than 3 pages for engineering and technical roles. So yeah, you got the length of the CV should be 1 page if you are applying for the business or internship roles, but no longer than 3 pages, okay? So the next one is include what's relevant for the specific role. Use bullet points with consistent formatting and structure rather than long paragraph. And check your typo and grammar. Of course, you have to check your typo and grammar. Okay, this is the topic that we would like to discuss today, which is tailor your CV to secure you a job interview. Okay, so the steps will be the first step is read the requirements and job descriptions carefully. We can't stress this enough. Read the job descriptions from the beginning through to roughly, and then read it again, and maybe read it third time. Maybe you fully understand what the employer is looking for and what the role requires. Of course, when you are applying for a position, you are referring to a job advertisement. So make sure you read the requirements and the job descriptions carefully. Just by reading the job descriptions carefully, you'll immediately give yourself an advantage over a proportion of competition. Okay, and then the second one will be pick out keywords and phrases from the job details that you have to pick out the keywords and phrases. So highlight keywords and specific skills listed in the job description and include them in your CV. Lots of employers now use, I'm not sure whether you are aware, they are using software to scan CV before they are seen by human eyes. So software scans CVs for specific keywords or phrases related to the role. If your CV does not include this word and phrases, it is probably, it won't probably make the past the interview stage. So if your CV does make it through, be seen by a words or phrases, then they'll be looking out for some keywords or phrases. If the job description asking you for good communication skills and strong attention to details, make sure you get those words in there somewhere, okay? So the third one is make your experience fit. So experience that doesn't seem immediately relevant may still have involved skills listed in the job description. Lots of roles require soft skills like the ability to work in a team, interpersonal skills, and organization skills. Communication is the most sought after soft skill in potential employees. Communication within the job description, highlighting the value of showing off the skills gained throughout the previous experience on your CV. So your previous sales role may not directly relevant to the project management position that you're applying for, but you can still draw attention to the skills required for both of the roles. So demonstrate the skills that you have in your CV. I'm going to touch that later on the what to use, the action verbs to be used, the powerful ones in your JD, job description. All right. So fourth step is put your most relevant experience first. So we might not meet every single requirement listed in the job description, and that does not really mean that we won't be invited for the interview. Tailoring your CV is about to making the skills and experience you have appear to be the best advantage that you could. So make the most relevant parts of your CV the most visible. So reorganize or rejig the order of your CV so that your most relevant experience comes first. This might be a previous role, qualifications or training or some freelance work that you have done previously. And last but not least is research the company. Of course, you have to research the company because different companies have different cultures. So don't just read the job description, you have to research the company as well. See if you can find out anything about the company's values and culture and include any information that you are about to fit into as in you are the fit. You will be fitting into the company's culture, all right? So these are the 5 steps. So read the requirement, pick out the keywords, make your experience fit, put your most relevant experience first, and research the company. Okay, these are the ones that I mentioned just now, whereby you need to use powerful action verbs, whereby if you led a project, if you notice in the job description, we call it JD for short actually, but uh, if you led a project, you just mentioned like handle 50 staff, for example, you can actually use powerful action verbs. So like it can actually carry a different highlight to your CV. You see, you can use, for example, check, coordinated, plan, executed. These are the examples of wordings to be used in your CV lah. So if you save the company time or money, then you can just mention that you consolidated or reconcile, reduce or yielded. These are example. By right, you can actually Google if you have time, but I think it's better for you to take time to do your CV for you to secure a job interview rather than you send hundreds of CV but did not secure any job interview, you see. So the third one, you increase efficiency, sales or customer satisfaction. So you can use this word expedite, boosted, generated, delivered. So you delivered customer satisfaction, for example. So it's very important. I believe like Ramai fresh graduate here. So if you are looking for a customer service job, So you can, if you have past experience in working in the customer service field, you can use this kind of action verbs. But more on that, you can actually Google. But if you have any, like you need reference, or feel free to contact us, because we are also one of the recruitment agency, which is actually currently we are actively hiring people for our vacancies in the client's company lah. All right. So the next one is, okay, this is where, okay, this one, I'm about to show you the job description, the one that I told you just now, the action verbs to be used. So tengok kalau position apa ni, CV ni, Tor punya CV dia duduk dekat mana. See, the top information is your contact details. So contact number Tor ada, email address Tor pun ada. So senang kita nak contact, kita boleh nampak dah the first page itself dah memang ada the info. Alright, so availability pun dia put siap-siap. So kalau dia shortlisted after the interview, kita boleh hire dia. Kiranya dia boleh join immediately, so we know. Alright, and then education, it goes by section. So this is a good CV example I am showing you now, because but the JD is not completed lah. These are the example of powerful action verbs to be used in your CV. So macam dekat company C ni, the latest company that he joined, actually he was the regional trade marketing manager, for example. So align the apa-apalah. So you have to use powerful verbs in your job description, okay? And I want to highlight the employment summary as well, because Tor ni bagus sebab dia dah summarizekan siap-siap dah dia punya summary of the working employment, working experience. So berapa tahun dalam regional sales dia ada, berapa tahun dalam trade merchandising. So it's a good CV. And languages is very important, especially when you can speak other languages than the normal two, as in the common two. English, Malay, if you can speak Mandarin, bagus Tor boleh cakap Mandarin dengan Cantonese, okay? So you can put in your languages, is very important. If you can speak, you don't, jangan lupa letak, because rugi nanti, because most companies are looking for multi languages, as in speaker lah, orang yang boleh cakap banyak language, okay? So actually this is the last part, which is do and don'ts. I know most probably everybody knows what are the do and don'ts, but I'm just going to touch the apa yang I rasa important to highlight. So first thing first, tailor your CV and include power words. As I mentioned just now, rather than sending like hundreds of CV to employers or recruiters, better you take your time to actually tailor your CV, lepas tu apply, lepas tu you can secure the job interview. Alright, so second, choose the right CV type. To summarize all this, I think we have three types, which is one is chronological CV. This is by far the most widely used format and outlines your work experience and education. It is the best option actually, if you plan to stay in the same industry and have no gaps in the work history. So you can use chronological. So from, as Gawri mentioned just now, put your latest employment in the at the top. So yeah, you can use like chronologically lah, you susun the employment. So second type is functional CV, also known as skill-based. This CV puts the spotlight on your achievement and skills rather than on experience and education. So based on this CV puts spotlight, okay, that one I've read it already. It is a good option if you have a gap in your work history and are planning to change careers or are just starting out in the workplace, okay? The third one is combination CV, which is a mixture of both the chronological and also the functional CV. So it uses both work history and skills to capture the employer's attention, all right? The third one is keep it neat and tidy. Of course, you have to keep it neat and tidy. Sometimes reference comes first. It doesn't work like that. Kalau boleh letak contact information first on the very first page, and then susun elok-elok, and jangan tulisan tak sama. That's what we meant by not tidy lah, as in kena kemas lah CV tu, okay? Fourth one is support claims with specifics. Merely saying that you help reduce overheads does nothing for your chances of getting an interview. Employers want specifics to include data to support your claim actually. So a good example would be, rather than saying I help to reduce overhead in my previous company, you can mention I helped reduce the company's annual overhead from 20,000 a year to 14,000 a year within 12 months of taking up the role, for example. Okay, so you support claims with the specifics. That's do's. And then the don'ts is, of course, first thing first, tell a lie. Jangan tipu, because banyak company sekarang they did background check, so they'll find out anyway. Even you tipu pasal work employment history. Actually, we have been in the market for more than 20 years. So if you have been registered with us like in 2007, for example, and then you reapply back another position, your CV is still there. You're somewhere in the system lah. We can trace back. So if you told a lie, actually we can see. And satu, bukan setakat malu, job interview pun tak dapat, and then employer jadi suspicious because you told a lie. Okay. Second is add negative information. So this means no mention of divorces, your fail exams, driving license point kena married ke, demarried ke, ataupun fail business startup. Okay, so additionally, don't complain about a previous employer or even give reasons why you left. You will be up against stiff competition for the role. Don't give the hiring manager any reason to discard your application, because this is just the very first stage whereby you submitted your CV to secure a job interview. Third one is explain gaps in your work history. What I meant by don't here is don't explain the entire situation. So if you want to put reason for leaving, end of contract, okay, that's fair enough kan. So recruiter pun senang, okay, tahu kenapa ada gap between your work history. But then you don't have to explain yourself. First of all, there won't be enough space. In fact, you shouldn't even try to explain work history gap. The time and place for such explanation is during the interview actually. So fourth one is include jargons unless it's necessary. So what is jargons? Jargons ni technical terms yang ataupun acronym macam internally you know in that company, but not everybody knows that. Okay, and also while it can show off your expertise in that particular field, you have to remember that the hiring manager is like probably not an expert in that field. So they will be having no clue about what you're talking about. So the last but not least is mention money in your CV. Once again, all mentions of salaries and benefit can wait until the interview stage and only when the recruiter asks you the question. All right. So and those are the tips and advice to help you your resume stands out lah. And head out to the link of our contact details. That's our contact details. That's our KL office number. That's my office number, as in Shah Alam office number, me and Gawri. And you can drop us an email at enquiry@intelek.com.my. So we have two entity actually, Agensi Pekerjaan Intelek and also Intelek Staffing. But you just remember like Intelek Recruitment Agency, okay? So we hope to see your resume soon. Feel free to keep in touch because we are immediately actually actively hiring right now, all right? So thank you very much, everybody. Over to you, Hana.
Thank you as well, Nabila. And it was such great reminder, especially for the action verbs. Now that we've covered the most important part of resume content, and yes, I believe most of us do use resume template. Nabila, if someone wants to expand their chances to apply for different job roles, like more than 5, let's say, do they need to have only one resume, or it's good to prepare different resumes?
Okay. Well, it is a good question actually. Whereby as a fresh graduate previously, I used the same CV to apply for every position, every vacancy. But if you notice just now, I mentioned that we have like few categories of CV. It's a chronological, functional combination. So if you are having chronological CV, or if you have a combination of chronological and skill based, you can use the same CV. But if you are applying, it depends on the role that you're applying for actually. If you're applying for more to technical role, then you have to highlight the skill. So it's better for you to use functional CVs rather than same CV for all your job application. So yeah.
I see. Okay, thank you again.
Mm.
So even if you're not familiar with using resume template, it is a time-saving tool in resume creation. Let me share these few websites for your reference. Okay, so the first website you can go to is resume.com. It's a free online resume builder as per stated. So this is the website and you can find out more. And I also have gone into this website and it's very easy. Okay, and the second one is I think most of us is quite familiar with Canva nowadays. So you can either go straight to canva.com and then search for resume templates, or when you are doing Google search, you can just search for resume templates Canva, and then it will lead you to here. And at Canva, yes, I know they are more into the design part, but remember, design is secondary. First is your information. Okay. Okay, so we have now reached the third part of the session, question and answer. Panelists, are you ready?
Yes, Hana. Okay, we have a question from Ari Varasan. Okay, what is the difference between CV and a resume? If you paid attention to my slides just now, I'm sure you did get an answer, but it's okay. I will explain again. A resume, it is a brief summary of skills and experiences, whereas a curriculum vitae or CV, it is a longer academic diary that includes all experiences and certifications. But however, these two terms is like interrelated. In Malaysia, it doesn't have much of a difference. So don't worry about the term. It's pretty much the content that you have to be worried about. Okay, thank you.
So I'm gonna answer the second the question from Nurul Nadia Abdul Halim. Puan Cik tak tahulah, tapi dia tanya for fresh graduate and experienced person, how many pages can they have for resume? What is the maximum pages? I'm not sure whether this question came after my sharing or before, but I did mention just now for the length of your CV, kalau fresh graduate ataupun applying for business role, you can maintain first page. Kalau you apply for like technical roles, then it has to be no longer than 3 pages, right? So I hope that answers your question, Nadia.
Okay, so we have another question. This is from Chantika Finza. I'm not sure if that's the actual name, but I hope I'm saying it right. Chantika asked me if I don't have working experiences since 3 years after graduate. I don't get job after graduate. What should I write? Okay, 3 years is pretty long, I would say. First and foremost, I believe there must be something that you have done in these past 3 years. You cannot be just sitting idle, right, at home. If in case you've engaged in any seminars or you have taken some short courses to enhance certain skills, do include that in your resume. But apart from that, like what I mentioned in my previous slides, we do have headers, right? Include all those information which is mentioned in the header, and together with that, include all the skills that you have acquired through your learnings in these past 3 years. And if you have, by chance, if you have any sort of part-time job, even if it's some sort of like a cashier job or promoter, just feel free to put in, because there is ample of jobs out there, especially for fresh graduates. It's merely a matter of choice. There are I'm not sure if it's the right word to say, but I got to say that there's ample of jobs out there, but most fresh graduates especially are being too picky, not understanding the market. So try to be a bit more open-minded and see what you could fit into, and tailor your resume based on that. but do include your part-time jobs if you have any, and also the skills that you have acquired, because 3 years is definitely a very long period for you to do nothing at all. Okay, so thank you Cantika, have a cantik day. Bye.
I have a question from UK. All right, so UK asks, do we need to inform prospective employers reason for our last termination due to COVID-19 reasons? Yes, you have to, because it's a common thing right now whereby employees left the company due to, for example, end of contract due to the pandemic. You can just mention because it's a fair reason, because this COVID-19, we don't know until when, and it's valid, and it's a truth actually. So you don't have to hide that information because it's a valid reason. So you can just put that in your CV. Okay, okay. So yeah, thank you very much for your question.
Okay, another question. This is from Nur Shafawati Muhammad Rodsan. Okay, which resume does the recruiter usually prefer, the plain one or the one with a few colors? Honestly speaking, being a recruiter myself, I would prefer the plain one because this is not a fancy dress show. However, if it's also quite subjective, if you are from for example, like a mass communication graduate, usually they tend to have very fancy resumes. Probably that's okay for depending on your field of studies, but try to reduce colors and images as much as possible, because that is not what is that is not the main attention. So you need to draw attention towards your information about yourself, what you can deliver for the job that you're applying. Okay, Shafawati, thank you.
Okay, the simplest question from Ariva Saran. So Ari, he asked, can I know what is the font and size should be? I believe font and size for the CV. Okay, so basically you can Google, but most of the usable font is Calibri actually. Those fonts I'm using on my slide just now. So because it's clear and it's like dia clear lah, so senang kita nak baca. Other fonts will be Times New Roman, as in the normal one lah. You don't use yang belik-belik one. So nanti susah recruiter ataupun hiring manager nak baca. So you can use Calibri, and size should be 11 or 12. 11, I think that is the best size. All right. So do we still have time, host? Do we still have time now to answer
Yes,
those
still have
the remaining
time.
questions? We do have time,
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take another one from Min. Ni orang apa ni? Korea ke? Okay, Minty Shaw. I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing your name right. But yeah, is it okay? Okay, she asked, is it okay if no design or colorful template is used in my CV? Is it okay if I just use Microsoft Word to create CV instead of Resume Creator? Actually, yes, you can use Microsoft Word. In fact, actually, most of candidates are using that to create the CV. So the first question yang you tanya tu, is it okay if no design or colorful template? As a recruiter, I prefer plain ones. You don't have to put color because we will print and it will be black and white anyways, unless you bring the CV to our office for walk-in interview. But too bad nowadays kita dah tak buat walk-in interview because of the pandemic. So most of the interviews are conducted online or digitally or via Teams, via Zoom, apa semua. So it's a new norm. But yeah, you don't have to put color so much. You can just leave it as plain as it can be, but like to make it formal and professional lah sebab dia for job application. Alright? Thank you, Minty Shaw, for your question.
Wow. Okay, this is a very good questions that we have so far. Okay. Gawri, I have a question for you. So who do we send to for proofreading before submission to the employer?
Okay, thanks, Hana. Generally, in my opinion, this concept of paying to a professional resume writer, it seems quite a lot out there. It's kind of in trend right now. However, from my personal opinion and experience, I would highly suggest to, if you're a fresh graduate for proofreading purpose, checking on your grammar or visually is your resume appealing, for this kind of suggestions, you may seek for assistance from your lecturers or seniors if you're freshie. But if you are with experiences, you're not certain about the quality of the resume that you have now, probably you can refer back to close friends or family first before spending money, because in this current pandemic situation, I think everybody needs a job and money is very crucial, right? So be very cautious in spending your money for things like this. Where you can save, I think you shouldn't be overspending. So I highly suggest to go through the nearest resources that you have, which is lecturers, seniors, your family members, rather than paying certain amount of money to proofreaders. If you really can't help it, then maybe that will be the last resort. Okay, thanks, Hana.
Okay, thank you, Gawri. Okay, so Nabila, can you share with us the most common resume mistakes that, based on your experience that you have encountered?
Okay, with the little experience that I have had, well, the common CV mistake will be yang paling obvious is put the wrong number on your CV, because sometimes we found a CV and it match with whatever requirement set by the client, tapi nombor phone tu salah, so we cannot contact the candidate. So that's why as mentioned by my colleague Gawri just now, proofread is very important. So once you have completed or ready kan your CV, you have to go through someone to actually proofread kan, ada tak grammatical error. Okay, that's another mistake lah in the CV. And then poor CV layout, tak tahu CV macam berkecamuk, employment dekat sini, education dekat sini, reference dekat atas, contact dekat bawah. So make sure you susun lah the best template. Banyak kan template yang ada sekarang online, so you can just go ahead and find the best template for your profile. Okay, and then and you have to tailor your CV lah to secure you a job interview. Sebab purpose of CV is for you to secure a job interview. Purpose of interview is for you to secure a job. So let's not worry about securing the job, worry about securing the interview first. So yeah, that's the common one lah yang I can think of right now. We still have time, right? We have quite a number of questions. It's just that you can reach out to us actually after this, because we are a recruitment agency, as I mentioned repeatedly. We are actively hiring candidates for job vacancies at our client's company. We have couple of questions more to that they put on the chat, but would you want to answer any of those, Gawri?
Yeah, there's one from Shahmi. Do we have to mention the position we are applying for inside the resume? Because previously I heard we must include it. Okay, Shahmi, generally you do not need to include the position title that you're applying for inside the resume, but highly not recommended. It is a must. When you are sending out a resume, of course, we are not sending resume through post. We have passed that era. It's all through email. So when you're sending an email, ensure to clearly state in the subject what is the position you're applying for. Okay? Thanks, Shami.
The next one is any opinions about the cover letter. I received one question about cover letter from Zulaika Nizam. Cover letter, it is good actually to have cover letter. I'm not sure whether it's just me because I'm working with the agency, or because if you are the hiring manager, actually if we have time, we will read the cover letter. But most of the times I don't. I'm not sure other recruiters. Do you read cover letters, Gawri?
Honestly speaking, I don't, because resume should consist the elements that I need to gauge. So in general, I don't see a need for a cover letter, especially if you're a fresh graduate.
Betul. So stick to your resume, make it right, then cover letter is not necessary. So tapi if you want to put it, it can, but from the recruiter point of view, we don't really read cover letters actually. Okay. So the next one, makin banyak soalan.
Okay. Hi, can you advise on application via LinkedIn? Actually, this is from Zurika, but honestly speaking, the question is not so clear. Nabila, do you understand what Zurika is trying to ask us?
Zurika, hi, can you advise on application via LinkedIn? You want to apply a job via LinkedIn? If that's what you meant, you need to make sure your profile in LinkedIn is correct lah and completed. Otherwise, your profile will not like recruiter tak boleh tengok lah your profile. If you want to apply positions in LinkedIn, usually when we advertise on LinkedIn, we'll put our email address for you to send in your CV still. It doesn't work like a job street whereby you can just click apply now kan. But I think we do have that, but we don't really use it like job street as a recruiter. So you still need to send your CV to the email. But if you want to apply directly in LinkedIn, via LinkedIn, you have to make sure that your CV is completed, as in the template yang memang LinkedIn bagi tu, the profile macam update Facebook tu, you have to completekan lah. Put in your employment history and semua. Okay?
Okay. There's another question. Is it compulsory to put referees' details in the resume? This is from Malaysia AYVP161. I believe that's not the person's name, but it's okay. So I believe we did cover this in our slides before. Referee is pretty much, we leave it to you. It's up to you if you are comfortable to share a referee detail, provided just make sure that your referee is definitely going to give you a good reference, because if they are not cooperative and you're not going to get good reference from the referee that you randomly selected, you may lose the chances of getting a potential job, right? Because we recruiters do reference check before we proceed with the candidates hiring. So choose the right referee if you are going to include into the resume. If you are not sure, you may omit from the resume. But however, later on, if you're shortlisted for a role, then you definitely will need to provide a referee. Okay, thank you.
Maybe we can answer one or two more last question. I have a question for the host actually. They Huizin asked, can I have certificate of participation to this seminar? Later on, Lifeworks will inform or how. Later on, Lifeworks will inform you on that. Okay, so I have another question tadi. Yeah, I see. Sri Kandi asked what is the difference between CV and resume. We have answered that just now. But okay, Erin Ali asked how to show to potential employers that we can actually do the job. By giving certificates or by giving proof that you have worked for that company. Usually if you resign, most of established company, they'll give you the letter, acceptance of resignation, and they'll put your last working day on the letter. So that actually shows that you have worked for that employer lah. Another way of doing this is on proving this is put the references lah. But that one like available after the interview, or even if you want to put, if that referee can give you good reference, then you can just put on your CV at the end part, as in the last part of your CV. Okay.
Okay.
Mm.
There is a question from Suraya. For example, if I'm a science student, but if I want to work in other field, how can I alter my resume? Which part should I highlight the most in my resume? Thank you. Okay, first and foremost, if you are a fresh graduate in science, but you are open to explore other fields, you got to focus on the jobs which is meant for fresh graduates. Honestly speaking, there are ample of jobs out there which is open for fresh graduates, not being specific on the field of studies. So if you are from science background, it doesn't mean that you cannot apply for an admin job which is open for a fresh graduate. Okay, so you need to be more alert in your job seeking position. So if go through the job description before you apply. Many people tend to make the mistakes by just clicking apply for every jobs that they see. Honestly speaking, it's wasting your time and also the hiring manager's time. So don't do that. Time is precious, like what I mentioned earlier. So check the JD first, Suraya and the others. If in case the job says it's open for fresh graduates, then you may apply. Okay, so I hope this would help you, but be a bit open. Don't constrain yourself, and be a bit open-minded in the job or opportunity that comes forward. Okay, thank you, Suraya.
Thank you so much, panelists, for answering the our participants' questions. For those people whose questions were not answered due to our time constraint, kindly visit Intelek's Facebook page. All questions will be answered there. Well, that's the end of our webinar Resume 101 Carve, right? In conclusion, I would say interviewers will look for evidence rather than opinion. For instance, evaluating your language proficiency. So it's better for you to use the word able rather than rating it with the number between 1 to 10, because at times people is not sure how do you get that rating. Okay, and we hope you have gained much knowledge and it can help you pave your future career. And if you have any other inquiry, not just questions, feel free to email to Lifeworks. Our team will assist you directly, and you can log in to our website, lifeworks.com.my, to get more details. So before we sign off for today, two important updates, which is our next webinar is dedicated to future internship students. It will be on 10th December on a Thursday. So remember to share this information, especially again to the future internship. Also, please fill in the feedback form. So we have put in all the details in the chat box. And also we will email to you in case you miss it here. So upon completion, we have a special complimentary ebook with this title, Resume 101, just for your reference. So again, all the details, do refer it in the chat box. Last but not least, do follow our social media accounts for more engaging content and also our latest updates. So just search for Lifeworks MY. Thanks again for your time and stay safe always. Remember, always be inspired.